So when our daughter Odessa was graduating from 5th grade, all the other parents were like, so what kind of phone are you gonna get her? And Ken and I were like, what kind of phone? She's only in 5th grade. And you know, we did all this soul searching. I mean, we thought, is this the kind of parents we wanna be? Is she ready? And I was just worried that you'd stop reading, you'd stop making eye contact, you'd never go outside. I don't know, I got so nervous. So I asked a lot of family and friends. I went on Facebook, got the most comments ever. And then I thought, I need some perspective. Whenever I need perspective, I like to go back in time.
I'm Tiffany Shlain. I'm a mother, filmmaker. I founded the Webby Awards. And this series is about how the future doesn't start somewhere far off in the distance. The future starts here. So on my journey through the history of parenting, I became fascinated with this idea in Neil Postman's book, The Disappearance of Childhood. He talks about how in the medieval times, children were essentially little adults. They weren't shielded from harsh realities and secrets. They wore adult clothing, they gambled. In fact, for most of history, kids began working part-time as early as age 4 and full-time by 10, and there was no thought of managing children's exposure to newer technology or anything else for that matter. So Postman explains that when literacy became widespread, thanks to one of our first technologies, the alphabet, it created a secret language for adults, which all led to a period of time starting around the year 1850 where adults really began controlling what children learned. Parents started to look at childhood as something that needed to be protected, an idyllic time of innocence. They started to guard their children against the flow of information. And that lasted 100 years until the 1950s, when that shifted again because of television, the new exciting technology of that time. And it made it so that information and messages were accessible to everyone. And that's why Postman called this the disappearance of the child. Kids had access to all this unfiltered information again. And culture was shifting on this grand scale and had many repercussions, a lot good and some bad. Like the 70s became the decade of divorce. My parents got divorced in 1979, which was the historic peak of divorce, and it completely changed the parent-child relationship for a lot of us. And this was definitely not conscious uncoupling, it was unconscious uncoupling. And during that time, my mom went back to school to get her PhD, which was amazing. I was so proud of her. But I was also at home alone a lot more, and I started watching a lot of TV. I mean, everyone back then was saying TV was gonna turn our brains to mush, but we survived.
I mean, every generation is faced with a completely new set of circumstances, and they have to figure out, how are we gonna deal with this?
And every family, of course, is unique. Everyone is reacting to a different set of something, trying to create the best situation for their child or children. I mean, we all bring to the picture our own baggage, historical, emotional, religious, cultural, married, divorced, single, strict, lenient, the things you want to make sure you do, and all the things you swear you'd never do to your children. And then when adults come together, it's like all the baggage swirls together. And then you add all the new technologies coming at us. And then you add all the new theories about how to be a parent. Attachment parenting, detachment parenting, slow parenting, tiger mom, free-range parenting. I mean, there's a lot coming at you at all times and in all directions. Like in the 2000s, helicopter parenting became the standard, where parents would hover over their children's every activity, and it was enabled by the cell phone, which some people call the world's largest umbilical cord. And if you think about Postman saying TV took away the innocence of childhood, then what the hell are smartphones and the internet doing? Kids have so much access to information, wonderful ideas, but also porn, violence, sexism. Can we really filter and shield all of that? I think ultimately our filters as parents need to be much more acute. I mean, we receive all this information through books, TV, media, social media, peers, our families. We have to be able to take it all in and then turn it all off. And listen to our instincts and say, what's best for my family? I know for me, our family turns off screens for 24 hours a week for what we call our technology Shabbats. And that was Ken's and my response to feeling that our screens were getting out of control. And parenting is ultimately modeling behavior, so it had to be a whole family commitment. I mean, history has shown us that while the technology might change, our role as parents stays the same. To do our best to guide our children through this ever-changing world.
So Ken and I decided to trust our daughter, and we got her a phone. Only one that texts and calls, but still a phone. And we did a lot of research and put everything down in a contract, all of our anxieties and our hopes, all the good, all the potential, all the bad, all the ways to kind of use it responsibly and mindfully. And we had a conversation with her, and this part was unexpected, was that just the process of writing it and then discussing it with her was, I think, really empowering for all of us. I'm Tiffany Shlain. I'm a mother, filmmaker. I founded the Webby Awards. And this series is about how the future doesn't start somewhere far off in the distance. The future starts here.